Well, hi everyone, Shaun Humphries here. Welcome to All Things Retirement. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about one of the most important people in your financial life, and that's your executor. Yes, your executor. I know you want to focus on your investments and saving taxes and what your cash flow will do in terms of lifestyle and aspirational goals, and those are all really important. But part of your overall financial plan or retirement plan will deal with the estate planning piece. And part of that is your will, and embedded in your will is your executor. Now, often when we approach people to be an executor for us, it's sort of, okay, it's a goodwill gesture. I'll say yes, but they're not exactly sure what they're signing up for. That's the majority of people. So because of that, I think you've got a responsibility to make sure that your executor understands what their responsibilities are, what the process looks like, and we're going to talk about some of the preliminary steps and then some of the other categories or areas that they need to be aware of. And we'll talk about a process to make sure that your executor is equipped to fulfill those responsibilities. It's really critical. Even for your spouse or partner, if they're the executor for your estate, they need to go through this process as well. Again, we're good-willed, we want to help, but often people will fulfill the responsibilities as an executor once or twice at most, and they haven't had experiences and repeat experiences to learn along the way. And so hopefully when you go through this video, you'll learn some of the important starter points. As well, the document that I'll reference on the screen as a PDF that you can download free of charge. And so I'll have a link in the show notes on how you can get a hold of the Executor Responsibility PDF. A really good resource. Give it to your partner, give it to your executor so they understand what the responsibilities are. And if you're new to our channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're posting content all the time on various aspects of retirement income planning and overall wealth planning. And if you go to the show notes, there's links back to our website. You can find out how you can get a complimentary retirement income plan. And there's some free education resources that you can access as well. And finally, the PDF document I'm referencing in this video, you can access by going to the show notes. There's a link that will take you back to the website to grab hold of this PDF. Let's take a look at the preliminary steps. You're going to be an executor potentially. So what do you need to be doing, whether you're a spouse or a family member, friend? Well, the first thing you do is you review the will. You meet with the family. You make final arrangements for the deceased. You become acquainted with the financial affairs of the deceased. You take all necessary steps to ensure the assets are safe and protected. You contact all the beneficiaries named in the will. You apply for a death certificate. So right away, you can see there's a lot of different responsibilities. A couple things to keep in mind. First of all, make sure your executor knows where your estate documentation is. Where is your will? Make sure, ideally, they should have a copy of the will. As well, do they know anything about your financial affairs? Are you expecting your executor to go into that situation flying blind? Or are you going to give them at the very least, an idea of where they can access a summary of your current financial circumstances, who your family members are, who the beneficiaries are? So any documentation you can prepare for your executor will be very helpful for them to fulfill their responsibilities. A couple things to keep in mind. We live in a very litigious society. One of the fastest areas of litigation in our country is litigation either against executors or executors defending themselves against litigation. That's particularly common in a last to die situation where that executor now is looking after the estate, and we have often second marriages, broken families, and it's at that moment that family members are swooping in and they may launch legal action against the executor, a goodwill person trying to do the very best they can, but they may unintentionally slip up a little bit in terms of how they fulfill the responsibilities of being an executor. So the educational piece is really critical. You want to make sure that they're well aware of the responsibilities. You can see these preliminary steps, there's quite a few of them. So we go down a little bit further, you've got protecting of the estate assets. So that's making sure that insurances are in place, that properties are being looked after, that mail is being rerouted if appropriate, right? So there are all kinds of things that need to be dealt with there. If we look at the assemble and value the assets, do an inventory of the assets, valuation of the assets. You might have to take assets like jewelry and vehicles and other relevant real assets and get them valued for the purpose of estate distribution. And of course, complete and submit all claims for life insurance, pension benefits. Make sure you contact Canada Pension Plan, Old Age Security, if that's appropriate, to stop all payments. In terms of probate, there is a very important component of probate, which is prepare the inventory of the deceased assets and liabilities. And then you have estate administration, a whole bunch of responsibilities. advertisements for creditors, closing safety deposit box, closing bank accounts, distribute, sell, dispose of household assets, personal items, pay debts, taxes, discharge mortgages, you name it, it's there. This is a very long list. So estate distribution is then the last thing. Usually what you want to have happen is the executor locks down the estate, fulfills all the requirements of executorship. Once all those duties are looked after, all creditors are paid, the biggest one usually is CRA, then you initiate estate distribution as per the will. That's a very brief outline, but there's a lot of detail around this. So the free PDF document will be very helpful for your executor, at least a primer. Get your executor involved in terms of a copy of the will, an inventory of where your assets are, or at the very least, let your executor know where they can get that information, a listing of the family members, who their names, what are the names, what are their addresses, or where are they domiciled. Those are all really important items. Anyway, I hope that's food for thought. And again, go to the show notes to grab hold of this free PDF document on executorship responsibilities. If you want to find out how you can get a complimentary retirement plan, go to the show notes. There's a link that will take you back to our website. And again, if you like this video, click like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that so you don't miss future content. Anyway, I'm wishing you all the best in your overall retirement planning and wealth planning journey. You take care. Bye-bye.